And welcome back to the Rent Street Podcast, the only podcast that tells you to pay your rent. He's Eric and I'm Owen. This is also the only podcast, well, probably not the only podcast. We're having technical difficulties, folks. It should be all fixed now. We're excited to bring you this episode today.
Hey, we're excited. This is a good episode. I'm excited. We are hopping back into our What If universe. And,
event.
My favorite What If is what if you subbed to our channel to get daily shorts content and weekly podcasts. We got all kinds of stuff coming up for you guys. We're super excited. And especially for this episode, Owen, why don't you give them a little background into like what sparked our idea for this episode? Because this, I think it's a really, really interesting and unique episode for us.
Yeah. So I feel like, obviously this whole podcast started from the pizza shop that we've talked about that we worked at both when we were in high school. But we had some ideas for a lot of other stuff, just kind of like late night workings, just like you're kind of tired, just coming up with random ideas. You don't want to be there. Typical work stuff, right? So one of the ones that we had, that ideas that we stood up the most to us was a TV show about, what do we call it, like pizza mob bosses or like a pizza mob.
It was a pizza show. So obviously, if you've been following the podcast long enough, you know that we're like really big fans of regular shows. Like that's our stuff, bro. That's what we're into. And especially the comedy and animation style from it, because, if you watch the show, it's just completely random. Like anything can happen starting in any way. And we're like, we work in a pizza shop. We spend like almost every night in here, doing pizza shop shenanigans. So what if we had a show about that, which is our original idea for the podcast, and then this idea of what we were calling the Pizza War started, where, break it down. It follows the story of a guy, and it might be a little bit loud outside. It's 4th of July. We're recording this right now, and so there's like fireworks going off, so you might hear that in the background. Anyway, it follows the idea of this guy who's going out. He's leaving his hometown. He's going to get a job in, let's just say, like New York. And pretty much anything. And he goes to get a job, and he winds up in a pizza shop. And the further he gets in working in the pizza shop, the more he realizes, there's a lot more than meets the eye there. Like we had like our storylines, our arcs going. We had like I don't remember any of the character names. This was like over a year ago.
Yeah, for context, this was a year ago.
Probably 2 years ago. Almost not 2 years ago, like a year and a half.
A year ago. It would be like a year ago. And it was probably like late at night. I think, tired from working.
I told Owen to write all this stuff down, and he didn't do it.
I didn't do it. But it's stored. I remember a lot of it. I do remember a lot of it. And plus we can come up with new ideas as we go. So yeah, that's the what if. That's the essential part of it is what if we made a TV show, and what if it was about pizza mob bosses? Think The Sopranos with pizza and pizza mob bosses. I don't know.
Instead of your crime organizations, they're pizza shops. And instead of your gangs, you had your pizza shops crew team.
And think instead of like psychological effects and depression that The Sopranos deals with, think of a little bit lighthearted, more lighthearted. I don't know. Pizza. Okay. We're not going to start it off like the first episode of The Sopranos where it's in a therapist office. It's going to actually, I don't know how we'll start off. We'll talk about that. But anyways, I think we should just get started.
Let's start brainstormming here. And
so the context, we kind of
comments. Like if you're in the comments here, you're watching this, give us ideas, give us like your thoughts on this, because I think this would be really fun, and I think this is something we could pitch someday to a company.
100% down to do a part 2 if you guys really like this later on, and
100%.
like some more depth into the podcast, into the show. But so we want to start off the main character. He's gonna be like 23, 24.
Yeah. Let's name him Jared. It's Jared.
Jared, yeah. He went to college for 4 years. He's looking for a job outside of college. Let's say he took like a year break after college. Maybe he had a lot of money saved up. Looking for a job now. He's doesn't know too much about the experiences of working in terms of, like other than like your typical
part-time job.
So he's out there, he's exploring, and we said he goes to an interview for a bank teller. Is that what we said?
Anything like maybe like a bank or some kind of
Business.
office job. Office job.
A pretty standard job, right? So he goes and he has like an absolutely horrible interview. And this will be the first episode, by the way.
He shows up late. He's like drenched, like in like dirty water because he like tripped in a puddle in the sewer. So like it's just everything goes wrong.
And we could even make a joke in there like there was not too many people for this job. He still didn't get it.
Oh yeah, it'd be hilarious.
But it'd be funny. That's like a classic. That's like a regular show gag. But anyways, just having a bad day. He just like, it's not even like one of those things where it's like you got to wait to get confirmation of the interview. You just know you didn't get it, or they might even tell me you didn't get it. Probably will say it like that just for context to make it easier. But so he goes. He's just having a bad day, and he pulls up to this pizza joint. What do we want to call the pizza joint? I forget what we wanted to call it. I think we said.
And for reference, though, this is an animated show. Like for some of you,
it's like regular show animation.
Before we start saying like some like wild ideas, you guys like, how are you gonna do that? Like it's animated.
It's regular show style animation. Probably a little bit better than like actual regular show animation, just because it's newer. But
I think like maybe I think it needs to be like some kind of pun. I think there needs to be like a pizza pun in it.
Yeah.
Like, I just thought of the name of the show.
Okay.
Sauce Bosses.
Okay. And then because it needs to be like a classic, or not classic. It needs to be like a memorable name for the pizza place. I'm just trying to think of like other things. Obviously, I don't want to say like this is a bad example, but like how
Pizza Avenue.
How like the regular show had the park, even though it was just the park, it was memorable. You knew it. So it should be like
Pizza Stop, Pizza
Hub, Pizza Pit.
I keep thinking like Wing Kingdom, Pizza Kingdom, but it needs to be something deeper. This is like a
yeah.
They're running an underground mob here. Like maybe it's Pizza on 23rd or like whatever street it's on. Maybe it's something like that. Like I think Pizza on 23rd kind of works, or maybe like
Pizza District.
Pies on 23rd.
Pies on 23rd.
Pies on.
What's a pie? What's a thing that you can rhyme with pie? That would make sense. Pie. This pie don't lie. I don't know.
This pie don't lie. Welcome to This Pie Don't Lie.
See, it kind of works.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, it doesn't work.
But that would be a great one-liner.
That would
like
be,
if somebody's like snitching or something.
It's like that's like someone's like final words. This pie don't lie. Boom. It's like the smoke 'em line from regular show. Smoke 'em.
Crust.
We'll just say we'll leave it blank for now because that's not
the
super
shop.
important.
Let's just go the shop.
The shop. We'll say the shop. So
we don't want to waste
he
time.
Walks in to the shop and is having a really bad day. He says he has asked for a pizza because you got to make the day better. What's a good way to make your day better is having some pizza. He notices that a sign that says they're hiring, and
this is a better idea.
Okay.
What if instead of saying they're hiring, you just hear like really loud noises in the back, and then the owner walks out and he's like, "We're gonna have to cut him," or like something like you know how like mob people that like the movies and like TV shows and stuff, they're always saying like different words for like killing people or whatever.
Yeah.
Does it like
yeah. Well,
no, they should like. We're gonna have to chop him or something.
We're gonna have to. he's like yells loudly, "We got to take out the trash!" As someone just ah,
and then the dude's like eating his pizza. He's like, "Huh?" And then the dude walks out and he's like, "Can't believe we lost one on the team." And he's like, "You hiring?"
He's like, "You hiring?" He's like, and then so from that point, he's like, "Yeah, I guess so." They sit down and they talk a little bit, and he good old Jared's, he's been around working his part-time jobs, like we said. So, he's like, "Oh, what about the pay?" He's like, "Don't you worry about the pay. There's other incentives on top of the base pay.
Plenty of dough in this place."
And he's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "What exactly do you mean by that?" He's like, "Well, I can't really tell that to an outsider.
There'll be plenty of cheese on the pie."
We're horrible at New York accents, by the way, so don't expect that to be good. But anyways, long story short, he decides to work there while he goes and looks for another job, hypothetically. And yeah, that's how the story kicks off. I would say the first episode, probably just that, unless you want to throw in something else.
Yeah, I think that'd be about it. And I think like maybe his name's like Mr. Lanzino or something like that.
I want someone to be named Donnie. I want Donnie in there. I want a Donnie.
Donnie's got to be the big dude.
Yeah, so like he's jacked. He's not super tall, but he's just huge.
Yeah, Donnie. So let's say okay. So Donnie, let's talk about the family real quick, because it's a family business, and they're all super skeptical about him bringing Jared in. They're like, "Why are you bringing in Jared?" He's like, "Hey, we needed somebody on the team. He's expendable." And he's like, "What do you mean expendable?" He's like, "Don't worry about it," or whatever, And they're like talking, and they're like, "Okay," and he looks over, and they're like, "Go get something out the cooler," and he goes to the cooler, and he's like trying to get whatever in the cooler, because it's a fully functioning pizza shop they got here, right?
Yeah,
it's a fully functioning pizza shop.
It's on top of the thing we foreshadowed with the mob boss. It's a pizza shop at the end of the day. They're trying to serve their customers and make them happy. So
let's say he is trying to get something. He stumbles onto one of the shelves in the cooler as he's like trying to get like a bag of cheese or whatever. And he notices a little hatch, and he opens up the hatch and he goes through it. And there's like a dimly lit room with a lot of tables, and there's a giant map, and marked on the map are all the different pizza shops in town. And each one's got like a date next to it or something.
And then there's like it's like a big table. Maybe there's like some playing cards stacked up on the table.
Yeah.
There's like maybe there's like something else on the wall that's like a wanted poster, like
of Mr.
like a bounty in One Piece or something like that. And and it's like all of the customers bounties, like they all have their own bounties.
It's so wild. Like
great.
And so he's got all the pizza shops are online here, and he's like tracing it with his fingers, and then the light flips, a big light flips on, and they're like, "What are you doing in here?" He's like, "I guess we couldn't keep it from him for too long." He's like, by the way, we want to voice every single character in it. We don't care if we don't sound good. It'll be funny.
And this is like a few days in. This is like probably his like third or fourth day, I would say.
Yeah.
So he's just expecting a normal pizza joint at this point.
Yeah.
Well,
and then he's like, "We couldn't keep it from him forever." He's like, "Now listen, if you want to work here, you got to be part of the family." He's like, "Now, it's time for you to learn, my boy, of the underworkings of the sauce bosses." And then it like does like a montage where it shows the owner of every pizza shop, and it gives like the pizza shop stats or whatever. And like he's like,
yeah. I was gonna say something, and I was like, think of like, no, okay, so it's like, it should be like a belt, and it's like from each passed on to each owner of the store, and then they have like a stat line right above them, like you're watching like ESPN or something. And
what are you talking about? Are you talking about the past managers of this shop or all the managers of all the other shops?
I'm talking about the past ones of this shop.
Okay,
because
that's different. That's not what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. You finish what you're saying, then I'll finish what I was saying.
Okay. Like all the other pizza shops in town, and it's like playing their stats, and he's like, "For 30 years, we've been trying to get on top." Or not 30, let's go like 100. For 120 years, we've been trying to get on top. He's like, but we can never get there. And I think it's time for things to change. He's like, our first target, pizza goodness down the road. Like, it like shows him, or like the owner, the sauce boss, if you will. And he's like, we were about to make a trip out there tonight. He's like, but we could use an extra hand. Plenty of dough on the table for you. Like,
yeah. And what I was referencing is like, I want there to be like, this doesn't have to be right now, but I want it to be like a montage of like every single owner of the Sauce Boss. And it's like their stats, what they were known for, like their traits about him. It's like you're watching it could be the owner of the store going like it's like a whole episode just going into detail about each owner. And he's like just reading it like he's like an ESPN. Like he's an ESPN like article writer or something. He's like, this guy had a great motor to him. He really put the shop out there. He had a great mindset, and he drafted some really talented guys. Like he's just like going through this whole thing. That'd be awesome.
He's like, we've been in the business a long time. It's a family business.
It's a family.
the dude's name's Jared.
he's like, so should we like identify important characters in the shop? Because we kind of like some of them. I think maybe before we go into it, but pretty much like what we're set up here now is now as the story progresses, the first time they have to take down a shop. And so what he's supposed to do, since he's a new member of the shop, they don't have his face yet. So they have him go on a scouting mission out there, right? And so he's going out, and let's say he's doing all his like investigative work. He's like trying their pizza. Like he's like, okay. And he's dude,
like,
exactly what I'm imagining.
Around the kitchen
the
a little
exact thing I'm imagining when we brought this up at first was the one episode of Regular Show. I forget what it was called, but where Thomas was like a intern at the East Pines. That's exactly what I was thinking of when we brought this up.
Yeah, so he's like going. Maybe he's a fake health inspector. Maybe he's hired on as like a part-time worker there or something. And maybe as he's like doing all his inspections or something, he drops a receipt or a paper from the pizza shop that he works at. And they're like, oh no. And so they like chain him up, and then they have to go do a rescue mission on him. And like, let's say this is probably like, this is like the third episode now. So let's say like at the end of the second episode or whatever, he gets like captured. Or like third episode, they're going to rescue him. And so all this stuff's going down, and it's like boom, 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 boom. They're like running in with like dual wielding Tommy guns, and they're like, and they're like flipping.
Yeah, this is where you see the full on warfare of the pizza business in this city. It's like, they're doing anything that they can to win. And it's like, I'm trying to think of like an example, but like, and it's like super hush hush. Even like, it's like, this is like 3 a.m. probably is when this happens, by the way.
Either 3 a.m. or maybe the kitchen's soundproof and there's people out there just like eating pizza, and it like just like keeps cutting between the kitchen and then the people out and they're like, and like they have like some like music playing, and there's like, ooh, yeah. They're like how's your day going? How's your day going? And then he like flips back there, and some dude's like jumping off the walls, dual wielding pizza cutters. He's like, and everybody's just throwing down. And in the midst of all of this, our boy Jared's like tied up in the corner with duct tape over his mouth. He's like,
Yeah.
He's like screaming, whatever. And then like it just like it like keeps progressing, and then they finally get him out, right? And then what do you think should happen here? He gets out.
He gets out. I think he gets out. The whole point of this was just to save him. I think. I don't think this place should go down. This should be like not their main competitor, but like
maybe the main for the season.
The main for the season, not like their like big time rival. Like there should be like one, that's like a split in the family of our pizza shop. It was like a brother went off and did their own business.
Plot twist: it was his dad who left and did it. He thought his dad was dead. His dad's running a different pizza shop somewhere else.
Who? The owner or Jerry?
The owner of the pizza shop.
What if the final season was somebody Jared knew, like a family member, and they were like the king, like the king of everything.
The king of everything?
Pizza, of course. I'm not talking about.
I was like, the king of cinder blocks is here too.
No, the king of mushrooms.
I'm the king.
But no. So I think they all they do is just they rescue Jared.
But maybe Jared picks up a piece of information before they leave, and he brings it back with him. So and then he like puts it on the table when they're doing like a recall and they're all yelling at him. He like puts it on the table and he's like, "Oh, we were wrong about you. You're part of the family."
It should be. We can figure out what it is in a minute, but he should be like they get him out of there and everything's fine. Like nothing. The rival shop doesn't go down. And they're riding back on their car or in their cars, and they're like, I think we're gonna get rid of him. And they're talking like quietly. They're like, yeah, he's done. He's gone. It should be like a big ass like van. Excuse me. A big van that they all ride in. That's how they do their heists. Is like a big van or like a big truck or something like that. And they're riding back like, yeah, I don't think he's it. I think we just got to get rid of him. And he's like, and right as he's like, look, we gotta have a talk, son. He's like. And I think it should be like who they're like illegally dealing with. It should be like they're dealing with it should be like a team up with another pizza company.
Either that or they have like a pizza contract with like a sports team in the area, and they're the one providing the pizza to sell it like the concessions at the sports team, and it's like a big money deal. And they're like, that's a deal we've been after for the past 4 years.
Yeah, I like that.
Like something just like wild like that.
Something like
and
super basic.
And then they're like, I think it's time, son. And they give him like a apron with his name on it or something.
He gets an apron. No, he gets an apron with his name on it, and then he gets a pizza cutter with his name engraved in it. He says, "Oh yeah, this is your initiation weapon." And it's like a bladed pizza cutter.
And as soon as this, it's like a buzzsaw blade.
It's like a buzzsaw.
And then as soon as this happens or whatever, he looks up and his voice completely changes. He's got the Italian New York mobster accent.
Yeah. It should cut to like a week later, and he's just like, this could be like the end of the episode. It cuts him like a week later, and he's working. It's this like rush hour in the shop, and he's got a full Italian accent. He's talking like they are. He's got like the big thick chains. He's got the same facial hair. That would be perfect,
dude. Yeah, dude. He's like legit in it now.
Yeah, he's a part of the family. He's a part of the family.
It starts off the next episode, and he's like on like a pizza delivery bike chasing another pizza delivery bike, dude. Like, this is the start of the 4th episode right here, right? He's like chasing them, and they're getting in this like crazy fight while like riding bikes or in like pizza delivery cars, and they're like trying to like ram each other off the road, and then they're throwing down, and he like gets him. He's like, "Now, what information you got for me?" And he's like, and then like maybe there's like a one-liner, and he beats him up, and he drags him in back to the shop. So now this dude from the other shop, they're gonna try to turn him into an informant. But is this guy gonna talk? You decide.
Yeah.
Is he gonna talk or not?
I think he's a spy, and he's a spy for. What if he's like a spy for like, I almost said like an out of county area. Like he's like, they don't even have beef with him, and he talks, or he's not. He doesn't say anything. And he actually slips up and says something about there's like other county pizza shops are trying to work against them. And he slips up and says something like that. And it's not like immediate. It's almost like it's like a foreshadowing thing. They just like don't really think much of it. Something like kind of like vague. That's not like super like, jump out at you like that, but like something that you kind of get the idea of like, yeah, it's not just the shops around here. It's like across the entire county, like other counties around you.
Yeah,
I think if you set up that could be nuts.
And then we
have some One Piece level foreshadowing. That would be nuts.
Yeah. Set up that. So we're gonna set up that down, and then we're gonna start this deal where a kid comes into the shop or whatever they're serving him, and he's got a shirt, and it's like a Chuck E. Cheese type place, right?
Mhm.
And on the back of the shirt, he's like, best pizza and games you'll ever have, or whatever, like the best time you'll ever have with pizza and game, or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
And then they take it personally. So then they start formulating this attack on this Chuck E. Cheese type place. And we're going to go regular show level where we throw into this fight, and they start throwing down with animatronics and stuff. And here's where this one's going to get different, right? This is where it's going to go crazy. Okay. They're going to be throwing down, and they're like trying to stop this pizza shop. And they're like, apparently they're claiming like best pizza. And so they're throwing down, they're fighting. And then they're like, there's only one real way to settle this. He's like, pick your player from each team. And so they pick like some random person. Then they pick Jared. And then they're like, you guys are going to compete in arcade games. And so at the Chuck E. Cheese place, they're going to be competing in arcade games. They're like, whoever loses, your pizza company's going out of business.
It's going under. It's going under.
It's going under. It's going under the sauce.
Under the sauce.
Ooh, that was a nice firework.
I'm starting to hear that too.
They're gonna go under the sauce, as you would say, and the owner of the pizza shop has to work in maintenance at the other pizza shop, so as like really to rub the dirt in the eye, right?
No, and they're and like they can't do anything, like they can't interfere with any of their mob businesses. It's just that.
You're just sweeping floors and cleaning tables.
Yep.
So we're getting into there, and let's say they're playing their games. And what game do you think this should all boil down to? Because obviously you want to keep it entertaining. They're gonna be tying up.
At the if you're talking, in my opinion, like arcade games, of course, like within reason, you got to bring it down to like a Street Fighter type game as the last one.
Oh, that'd be so tight, dude.
That would be so cool.
So they're like playing like Street Fighter.
Something like, it's not gonna obviously be Street Fighter. Yeah. It'd be like Fighting Street.
Fighting Street.
Fighting. No, you can't do that. That's too blatant. It's gotta be something like Street.
No, that's the comedy in it though.
It is the comedy in it. Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, Fighting Street.
Alley Fighter.
Alley Fighter.
Avenue Fighter.
And instead of like there's like a character, there's like I don't know. I just lost my idea of whatever I was gonna say. But unfortunate. So it comes down to this. It comes down to the 1v1, and Jared ends up winning. And I don't think there's any regular show type things. You know, like if you're a watcher of regular show where it's like they do something like that and then they spawn the god
the characters
of Street Fight or Fighting Street. Sorry. They spawn like the god of that, and then you know like that's a regular show type thing. That doesn't happen here. He just wins and they go under. And I think the way it should go under is it's got to be like an overly dramatic send-off.
It becomes a franchise of that pizza shop.
Maybe, but it should be like an overly dramatic send-off where it's like they light it on fire and they're all like saluting it. You know how tough that would be?
Or they're like all walking away from it while it's on fire. And then they're like walking away, and then maybe they're like taking their ingredients or like stuff, like taking it out of the shop, like over their shoulders or something. They're like
they got like a bunch of bag of cheese on their shoulders. They got like a bunch of
and they're walking away slow-mo from fire.
Yeah.
And the news is like, another mysterious pizza shop goes on fire. That's how the next episode starts.
Yeah.
And just kicking into the next one.
So I think
I want to hear your plot idea for this next episode here.
So
you got full range.
I think you should. This is episode 5, 6? 5.
I think it should be like 11 or 12 episodes.
I think you should start with because like I'm thinking of like in an anime sense where it's like
you got to get into the storyline.
You got to get into the story, right? It's like you get
this is the season
idea
story
of the characters and you know everything going on, but now you get into the meat and potatoes of season 1. We got to set up the big rivals of season 1, and I think that's what episode 5 is going to do, or maybe leave off with. I think it's going to be a pretty typical episode. I think Jared's, just going to be kind of like, I think there should be also, I think in every single episode, I as dumb as this sounds, I want it to be kind of like One Piece, where it's like they have episodes of them just on the ship messing around. I kind of want like them talking and just like bantering with each other in the shop, like during busy hours and stuff like that. And, like them getting along, building character growth with each other and like all that. I think that'd be cool if they did that. I think that's how a lot of episodes should start off, unless if it's like in the middle of something, like if it leaves off.
It's like, that's how regular show does it too. They're always just working in the park.
Yeah, and so I think, and they grow better friends throughout the show. So I think it's something like that would be cool. But I got to think about this for a second. So I think
we're setting up shop. Potatoes.
They close up shop for the night, and the main man Donnie, the goat, comes in, slams a piece of paper down, and it's a
how many pieces of paper are getting slammed down in this show?
I don't know. It just came up in my mind.
Actually, that'd be a really funny like gag throughout the show. So they're just always slamming paper.
And no, it's just like they don't say anything. They're just walking with a piece of paper in their hand and they slam it down. And every time that happens, they're like, not again. And they just so Donnie walks in, and we could talk about the characters a little bit later, but he's the type of guy. If he's saying and bringing up something, it's important. He's a serious dude. He's even more serious than the owner at points. But like if he's talking, you listen to him, type of dude. That's what he is. And he says he got some intel from their cross-street rivals, their biggest competition that they've had. Is that going to be the season 1 villain? Do you want to do it like that?
Yeah. Like they're trying to take down the street right now.
Yeah, it's like a street. So it's like there's like maybe some other restaurants, but it's like, that's the main one. It's like everybody goes for pizza. So they take up most of the time. So it's their cross street rivals, and they always see them. So he gets some information about them using pizza ingredients that are specifically enhanced to make them better and enhance their taste. And they're like illegal substances used in like the pizza business. Like there's like a pizza code, and he could talk about that maybe in that episode. But
I think a good addition to this, since they are cross street rivals, maybe they have an agreement signed between the two of them for at the moment. And it's like, if you break any of these rules, the agreement's over. Okay. And one of the rules is the ingredients thing. I think another idea here is the branching out. They can't, like, neither of them, unless you want to start a war, can make an extra franchise of their pizza shop.
Yes. I like
so
that.
First off, we're going to get the ingredients list. And then they're like, that's like the first, like, he's like they're changing the ingredients, enhancing illegal stuff. This stuff's bad.
Yeah. And it's like pepperonis that are, I almost said something wild. I don't want to say it like that. I was going to say laced with something, but, it could be like that. It could be like pepperonis like laced with something that makes them better and taste better. And he's like, this is against the pizza code. Like, and any pizza restaurant can't do this. It's illegal in the pizza business.
And then as soon as that happens, he slams a second piece of paper
day later. Or same day.
Yeah. So he's like, this is ridiculous. He's like, you think that's ridiculous? Because it gets deeper. And he slams it down. He's like, they're opening another place.
And it's where they burned down the old, or where they just burned down the place.
They just
the exact same place.
They just, maybe like they haven't even started building it. They just bought the land.
Land.
Now we're splitting off the pizza crew, splitting off into two teams. They're splitting off into the ingredients reconnaissance team and the construction interference team.
So the ingredients team is going to be the big one, because they're going to have to go directly into the shop, and that's where everyone's going to be at. That one, the construction one, let's say they hired like a underground construction company to build it fast, and they have to stop them. I think that would be cool.
Yeah, and they're like being like, maybe they're being more mischievous and doing like funny practical jokes, like somebody's like trying to like use like hammer and nails, and they keep hiding the hammer and nails every time they try to use it, like funny stuff like that I think it'd just be funny. And then the ingredients team, they're like they're like getting stuff. They're like scientifically testing it. They're like running it through the tests and stuff. And they're like, it's not passing the tests, man. And they're like, we knew it was fishy.
We know it was fishy. So, and then that'll be episode 5. And it'll like the cliffhanger will be they're opening up another restaurant or another franchise. And it's at that spot. That's so like that, and maybe like it can, I kind of maybe like would like there could be like an episode or like that goes into detail about like, maybe more of like Jared's life outside of the shop.
We could do that. That could we can maybe
or you could
throw that in there.
Or you could do more focused on the like the chemistry thing I was talking about with the shop.
If we're looking at episode 5 here, I think another chunk of this that I want it to be a flashback where you just get to see a chunk of the war that had happened in like the past 10 years between those two shops, and then it shows
actually that's
the agreement. I think that should be a flashback.
That's better. That's better than what I said. I like that.
And then after the flashback, that's when they throw the second piece of paper down.
Yeah, I like that. That's and then it ends on that. And so I think the two teams should Jared should go directly into the store to get the ingredients back. I think the owner should as well, because I don't know, it just seems like that's more important.
What if since Jared's a little bit newer, they're like, he's newer, let's put him on the construction hindrance team. And so he's over there, and somebody on the ingredients team,
it's a little less dangerous.
Somebody on the ingredients team gets whacked, as some may say. And that's like the first loss that the crew takes as a whole. And so he steps into that role from where he was to build suspense there.
I think
to add
I like that.
Layer.
Yeah, I think there should be like a training, not like a full training episode, but there should be like some training. And it's it can be like over exaggerated too to be funny. It could be like him like
he's like doing jump ropes with the dough stretched out.
Yeah, and he's like tossing like pizza cutters like ninja stars, or like he has like he can like throw like ingredients like bags of cheese to like block people's vision, or like use like not hot sauce, but like hot pizza sauce to like burn people's eyes and stuff like that. And he's like it's like a big training arc that's like over exaggerated. And
that's hilarious. I think that'd be absolutely
really
hilarious.
And it needs to have, ideally, I would love if we could get like regular show type music, like the 80s. It's 80s music, right?
Oh yeah. It's like all 80s rock music.
It's like all 80s music, and it's like like I need a hero, and he's just like grinding on the jump rope, and he's just like it'd be so sick.
Okay, so we're gonna break it down there. So that's episode 5. Let's go ahead and make that episode 6 too.
Yeah, that's episode 6. It's like
episode 6 is training.
Yeah, it's training.
Episode 7. Let's do what I was just talking about just a second ago about them getting the dude getting whacked at the end of that episode. So they're just kind of doing their shenanigans. Episode 8, he steps into the role.
Yeah.
So now he's in the role, and at the end of 8, they're going to get the crackdown. They're going to do the science, and they're going to find out the ingredients they're using do not pass the pizza coat.
At the end of episode 8, they go in, or they're getting ready to go. And then I think episode, do you want to do 9, 10, 11, 12, or do you want to do 3 or 4, I guess?
Let's do 9, 10, 11, 12 is the final war between the
So I think a part of it's going to have to be dealt with the construction crew.
I think I got an idea for that. For that. But I want you to finish what you're saying, because I got the idea for the construction. I got the idea for episodes 11 and 12.
Okay. So 9 and 10 can be the deconstruction group, I guess. Maybe there could be some stuff sprinkled in there before, how it's like they know it's not like an actual like construction business.
It was a trap. It's not even they're not even constructing there.
It's a
completely
trap.
Fake.
It is. I like that. So they go there with like explosives. We could just say dynamite, stuff like that. Explosives, and they get there. They start unloading, and they're quiet, but they get caught. And as soon as they get caught, the like right hand man of the across street
yeah.
pizza shop is there, and they catch them, and
they're like tied up with pizza.
It can go
making stuff up.
it can go like back and forth, but at like the end of episode 10, maybe it should be that's when they get caught, and then they're calling the owner of our shop, and he said, if you attack.
You're cutting out. You're frozen. You're frozen.
I'm frozen?
You're frozen. Right now on my screen, you're just going, okay, you're back to being pretty normal.
I'm good. Okay, my internet.
You just cut out where you're like, if you attack.
Okay. Sorry about that. And my internet connection's crazy sometimes. But I'm good now?
Yes, you're good now.
Okay. So the across town pizza shop, they would capture all of them, and he would call the our store manager, say, if you attack our pizza shop at all, we will kill, or we will get rid of, we will take out the trash and all your men. We'll get rid of all your men and all of your workers. We could say at this point there's like six. There's like 6 on that crew and maybe like 7 on the other, or like 5 on the other, something like that.
Yeah.
It just like not like a huge amount.
Frozen again, dude. If you can hear me, you're frozen again.
This is
okay.
Is it good now?
You're moving now. So there's
all
like
right.
5 on the other crew.
Yeah. So I'm gonna let you talk for a little bit, but yeah, that's the gist of it. And they're like, if you attack us, we will kill your men. And it causes this like whole panic and an episode ending drop on episode 10.
All right. Now at episode 11 kicks off, and they get in their pizza delivery cars. You ready? And everything that Jared knows at the moment, they're just normal pizza cars. And so he's in a car, the owner's in a car, and they have like 3 cars maybe out on the road. And they're going out on the road, and he's like, we need to get there fast. And so they have like turbo engines. They're trying to get to this other site now.
They're all panicking.
And as soon as they start driving off, all the other the delivery cars from the shop across the street pull out straight behind them. And now we're in some Mad Max type road fight.
Yeah.
For episode 11 here, right?
Yeah.
And so like they're on the comms. They're on the comms in they're on the comms, and they're like, press this button, Jared. And it's like shooting off like rockets, and like giant pizza cutters flip out from under the car. There's just chaos, explosions, dude. Just like all kinds of crazy stuff going on here. Okay, that's like my idea.
Okay, I like that. So I think you should continue on with that, and then I think for like some other context, it's still like it's like 2 a.m, 3 a.m, the middle of the night. Maybe like people are like filing noise complaints, and the police are starting to get are starting to figure it out a little bit, but not fully. Like they just like, this is a little weird, but they don't see anything yet, even though there's like actual rockets flying in the middle of a street. So this goes on for like the whole episode, I think.
And at the end of the episode, they pull up to the construction site.
They go to the construction site, and it's like everybody's exhausted, they're hurt, and it's like a final like fight almost. And there's like, it's like a 6v6 or something like that, and they just go head to head.
Final episode is just,
and it's like right before they've had to clash, the episode ends to episode 12. So 12 should be a little bit. I think episode 12 should be.
Let's start off with the flashback to Jared when he graduates or whatever, or maybe when he's a kid, and it's flashback to like somebody asking him what he wants to be when he grows up, and it's like, I want to be a hero or like something. And he's like saying like all this stuff, and it's like it's just him as a kid, and then it cuts back into it, and maybe it's only like a minute long flashback or whatever.
Yeah, not super
cuts back
long.
to it. They're in the row and they're about to clash again. So now we're right back here where we
full on fight. I think there should be like I feel like there should be like I don't want to do like a fake out death, because I hate fake out deaths, where it's like the owner almost dies, but he's fine at the end. I don't want to do that. I thought about that, but no, I don't like that. I don't like fake out deaths. But it should be like a situation where it's like Jerry gets put in a situation where he has to give up something to save his manager or the owner. I keep saying manager, but to save his owner. And, you know, everyone's telling him not. I don't know what you would give up, but it could be like this cool scene of, you know, like of them, like of him trusting him. And he's like giving like signals of like, give it to him. We'll just say like a recipe or something. We'll say like a recipe, for example. Like, give him the recipe. It'll be all right. As he hands over the recipe, he I don't know what to do there. I want to do like something.
He throws it up in the air, like, or like holds it up for him, and then punches him through it behind it, right in the face or something. Like, something like really cartoony. I think would be
really cartoony, or like he does like, I don't know. I can't think of anything really right now, so it's kind of like I don't have any ideas for that. But I the setup at least.
Yeah, but like
so
yeah. We get there, and it sets up. Win the fight. He's got the trust. He's got the full, utmost trust and respect of the owner now.
And everybody else in the shop.
And everybody else, yeah.
Yeah.
Where you want to put it? How do you want this to leave off? How do you want it to foreshadow what season 2 would theoretically be?
So I want, first off, the crosstown rival completely under. They're done. They do the same thing. They burn down the pizza place, and then, you know, the same thing where they're walking away. Both the construction site and the older location. So they burn that down, and it's like it should go back to.
They hang up a apron from that pizza shop in the hideout room in the cooler. I think that'd be like a cool like trophy thing. They hang up an apron.
Or like no, it should be like a scene where he's like crossing out the
the pizza shop
on the map, and then it should be like it should be like maybe like it should be like a pizza cutter, and it's like, or what if like every every shop has like a golden pizza cutter, and they like hang it up on their wall, and it's like their trophy.
Yeah,
and
I like that.
They took it from the other place, and it's theirs now. And it's like a golden pizza cutter. They take it and they hang it up. And as he hangs it up, and then he turns around, and he sits down, and there's Jared, and it's him and Jared.
They're only the people in the room.
No,
only them.
Yeah,
just only them. Too.
And he's like, he says something like, you know, kid, I think there's a chance that we win this. And then I don't know like what else you do after that. I feel like some sort of foreshadowing. Some sort of foreshadowing.
He's like okay. So he's like talking to him. He's like, I think there's a chance we're back in business here. He's like, I think we can be the top again. He's like, my dad always told me this family be on top. He said it to me the last time I talked to him, right before he died in that fire, or like something like that.
Yeah,
right?
something. Yeah.
So and he's like, you know, he's like, his dad said the family would always be on top, and then he's like, and I want you to be a part of that family now, Jared.
Oh,
will you be a part of this family? Now here's the cliffhanger. Across the street, there's or maybe not across the street, but somewhere else. Actually, I think that'd be better. Maybe there's a sold sign on a plot of land, and then you see. All right, you ready to buy this? Sign your name on this lease or whatever, and then it pen on paper, right here, right? Pen on paper. Straighten that out for a second. You see somebody writing something down, and you see the last name of the pizza, our main pizza family here. But it's just obviously not him who's writing that name down. And it's his dad.
That would be nuts.
So you see the signature getting written down. You see that it's obviously
that would be a nuts cliffhanger. I like that. And that doesn't even have to be season 2. That doesn't have to be done in season 2.
That's something that can develop in the background in the season.
Yeah, it's like what we talked about later, where they were like, or how we talked about earlier, the counties, like them.
Like that could be season 2. That's gonna be like season 2.
Yeah, that could be season 2. So I like that. I like that a lot.
Because you said, like I said, he's like, my dad always said this family would end up on top. That doesn't mean that he's gonna end up.
Yeah,
on
that doesn't
top.
mean he's gonna be on top. That just means the family will be on top. That's a really good cliffhanger. That's season 1, folks, of Sauce Boss.
Sauce Bosses, whatever you want to call it. That's season 1
title
right there. We just wrote it out for you.
We wrote it out for you. And
do not steal this idea.
Yeah, we put a. I don't know. We can't put a check marker like a copyright thing on it, but
it says it right up there. Rents due.
Rents due.
Speaking of that, Owen. Oh, well, first off, let us know if you want a part 2. Let us know if you have any ideas for this. Because I think this is a great idea. Who knows?
We can go into details about like. Yes.
No, you can go.
We can go into details about like characters and stuff other than like the main feud that we mentioned. We can go into details about that later. You know, like I want this to be like a part crew type of cast. That's what I want it to be. Where it's like,
oh yeah, it needs to be a legit cast. It's just not enough time right now to think of the cast.
Yeah, we can talk about that later. But yeah.
So here's I got 2 things before I head it off. Maybe one day we'll pitch this show somewhere. Maybe it'll end up being something. Most likely not. JG Quintel, please. If somebody sends you this, JG Quintel, please. Anyway,
so
Owen, I want you to point right up there. Point, no, on the other hand.
Okay.
Right up there. That is where you can find our channel right up there. He's pointing at it. Go ahead and click that button. And click this button right here if you want to see our last video. It's right there. Anyway, you should go out there and pay your rent because it's pretty important.